Hey everyone, it's Four Gun Guy, and I was having a conversation with just an acquaintance, and he mentioned something that kind of caught me by surprise. Well, not by surprise, but and I told him this. I was a little worried about what he had said, and I wanted to talk to you about it today. What he said was he was going to take his centerfire rifle and he was going to tune it himself. And I asked him, what do you mean by that? And he said, well, I'm going to take that trigger apart and I'm going to file it down and do this and do that and hone it and buff it. And I asked him, I said, have you ever done that before? Have you ever, quote, tuned a trigger or a firearm before? And he said, no, no, no. He goes, but I saw it online and it doesn't look like it's that hard to do. And I want to talk to you about why you shouldn't do that. So if you're ready to go, let's get to it. Look, if you are a gunsmith and you know exactly what you're doing and you have done it many times, or you have done it a few times to your own firearms where you're not putting anyone else in danger except you, then that's fantastic, right? I would trust my gunsmith, Larry, to do that to this rifle. I would. I would never attempt to do that myself. Now, what I'm talking about here is not simply taking an Allen wrench and adjusting the trigger pull and the sear and all that stuff on the trigger per instructions that you receive with the trigger. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is something like I did to my competition 3-gun pistol. This is a Tanfolio. This was my competition pistol. It is unloaded. There's nothing in the chamber. There's no ammo anywhere around me. But when I purchased this pistol, the gentleman asked me, he said, do you want me to tune it for you? I said, talk to me about that. What are we talking about? And he said, well, I'm going to make that pistol operate right out of your holster on the first shot of competition like you've sent 400 to 700 rounds through it. He goes, everything's going to be smooth. You're not going to have to worry about getting anything worked in on that pistol. And I said, sounds good. How much? He told me it was not cheap, but he showed me when I picked this thing up, he took it apart and showed me everything that he had done over the course of about 3 hours working on this pistol. And it was everything from the trigger to the hammer to the slide to everything that he had polished, buffed, and made work perfectly. And I tell you what, the first time I used this thing competition, I was like, well, I had practiced with it before, but in competition, I was like, holy crap, this thing is so smooth. Because I had shot other pistols before that I just went out and bought. And then I shot them, had to break them in. But it was really, really nice. But my point is, that was a package that he offered. He had done it many, many times before. A lot of 3-gun or multi-gun shooters use him. And so I trusted him with that. Me doing that by myself, I would not feel comfortable. You might. You may own so many firearms that you've done it 100 times, and I think that's great if it's worked out for you. This is for the new shooters, the people who are just getting into the sport and have just purchased this firearm or a centerfire rifle, and they're thinking about going beyond just tweaking what they should be tweaking using the instructions that come with the rifle, right? I don't know how else to say that. But please don't go out on your own and start thinking just because you watched a YouTube video that you can actually do that yourself. So again, real short one, but this is one that it really kind of bothered me when I was talking to him. And I did tell him, I said, look, man, that really makes me uncomfortable, not only for you, but for the people around you. Because if you don't know what you're really doing, and we get into a competitive situation to where you think that weapon is safe and you by chance flag someone and that weapon is not safe, even though you think it is, that could really cause some pretty good harm to somebody. So he took that and he was very respectful. He said, "Look, I understand." He goes, "I'll look more into it." He goes, "But and maybe I'll call my gunsmith and see what he thinks about it." And so I think that's what he's doing. But anyway, just wanted to run that by you. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Got a lot more coming up, and until next time, shoot straight.